countries most affected by these newly imposed tariffs. Global stock markets have, of course, slid as President Donald Trump's new tariffs rattles investors worldwide. As of last night, India's Sensex and Nifty 50 closed about 0.35% down, with textiles, pharma, gems and auto part exporters among the hardest hit. Across Asia, South Korea's Kospi sank 3%, Japan's Nikkei edged lower, and Hong Kong and Chinese indices extended their losing streaks. Taiwan's currency fell for a seventh session, pressured by 20 to 30% tariffs. In the US, the Dow closed 0.74% lower, with the S&P 500 off 0.37%, while European futures also pointed weaker. Commodity markets dipped, with oil down nearly 1% on global demand fears. Analysts warn export-driven economies face margin and job risks, while India's GDP growth could drop 0.2 to 0.4% if tariffs remain. Markets recovered some intra-day losses on hopes of last-minute negotiations. However, risk appetite remains fragile as Trump's trade war ripples across the globe. Right now, we're going to switch over live to some live indices. We're going to start with TAIEX, which is, of course, Taiwan's indice here, which is down now today, 0.45 this session. This is, of course, after Donald Trump has not negotiated a trade deal with Taiwan, and they are facing a 20% tariff on that. We will now move on to Japan, who of course did negotiate a 15% tariff on US goods, 0.38% down, as we can see there, minus 154 points today, even given that negotiated trade deal with President Donald Trump. So we see some loss in confidence there in today's session. Next, we're going on to India, of course, Nifty 50, who has gone down 0.004% today. So not a huge loss in confidence there in today's session, despite the 25% tariff, which was announced by Donald Trump just a few days ago. We now move on to Sensex, India's other national index. We see actually a small gain there of 0.08% in today's session. Let's move on once again to the United States. Of course, we will see a loss of confidence in 0.74% in today's session. This is people obviously losing confidence in the US market. People fear the implications which this tariff is going to cause, fears of global instability, global trade instability here. We now move on finally to the NASDAQ index, which has dropped 0.034%. As we can see, some fluctuation there among countries, all facing different tariffs. Dr. Kumar, I wanted to come to you. Obviously, the world is waiting in anticipation for if any other trade deals get through. We've seen the stock market throughout this whole saga behave unpredictably here. What do you think the effect of this is going to be on global trade stability, all in all?
It is going to impact the geoeconomics in long run, and in current circumstances, macroeconomic instability is there. That is why you are seeing some kind of effects in the stock markets across the globe. But big economies like India, China, Brazil, Russia, many countries are within EU, and a few in other parts of the world, including ASEAN, like Vietnam, I think these countries are not going to be affected worse. But situation is right now very vulnerable for some countries like, Syria, I mean, Laos, Myanmar. Just imagine, like a country like US is imposing 41%, 40% tariffs on these small economies, and they do not have very high per capita income as well. So this is not sending a good signal to the geopolitical geopolitical circles. So circles, as well as many countries who want to see a change in the world order. That is why it is not a good perspective. It is not a good signal in long run. And also for companies, critical technologies and critical minerals had been in the center for many countries, leading countries, and the big economies in the world. This is making many companies to think in a unique way and in a very strategic way to come up with products which is exclusive to them, so that they can deal with this kind of tariffs. So it is not a good news for many economies as well as the consumers, because many farmers are going to be affected and consumers will be in a vulnerable situation.
Dr. Kumar, I'm very, very sorry to interrupt you. We have run out of time, unfortunately. That is, of course, all we have time for. Thank you very much to our guests for joining us in that discussion. We will continue to bring you more news updates from around the world. Thank you for joining us.